And try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh,
Come, let's build. Come, let's transform. Come, let's make this place better. I want to welcome you to this segment in the program where I will lay a solid foundation for reasoning. Those on Facebook and YouTube, I want to encourage you to please share the live. Sharing is caring. I want to start off again by saying you need to keep the people of Jamaica in your prayers and everything that you can do. And I'm not just talking about the individual, but organizations, government. Please try to do it for the people of Jamaica in the next coming days and weeks and months and years, because that category 5 hurricane, Melissa, devastated Jamaica. I mean, it reminded me of Hurricane Ivan. And it was even worse than Hurricane Ivan from all experts. The devastation was massive, massive. And because Jamaica has a similar topography, a similar make as Grenada, you could imagine the landslides, the floods, the destruction to the many, many, many houses on the hillsides and the hospitals and airports. You can go on and on and on. I saw videos, actual videos from international media organizations, and it's not too good. So again, I urge all of us to pray for them and hope that, less you'll get the news that less people died, because there have been deaths, but you want that to be single digits, right? Because so far it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. So just saying, it has been a very, very tough one for Jamaica. But I want to make the point that our beloved Prime Minister has vision. Many people underestimate his intelligence and his headedness, for a want of a better term. He's calm and he's focused, and he's not distracted by the naysayers or by those on the opposition side or those who just jealous, envious, and full of hate. He's not distracted by that. Look at what he did with the students who were in Jamaica, our Grenadian brothers and sisters who were in Jamaica. A lot of people only saw the news, saw it on the news. They never heard any rah or hooray. He acted with wisdom. Melissa was heading to Jamaica, and he removed the many Grenadian students there.
In the early hours of Saturday morning, family members of 24 Grenadian students studying in Jamaica were reunited with their loved ones who were brought home ahead of the anticipated impact of Hurricane Melissa, which is now Category 5 and expected to strike Jamaica on Tuesday. The government of Grenada chartered a flight on Saturday to ensure the students' safe return. The students and their families expressed joy and relief for the government's proactive move.
Well, first of all, I'm very grateful that Grenada put out for us and brought us back home safely. And to some of the remaining students in Jamaica, I just want to say I hope you all stay safe, first of all. But other than that, Grenada has done a lot to bring most of us back.
To collect my daughter Lemiki. She was studying in Jamaica and she had the privilege of returning home safely given the danger that is heading towards Jamaica this time. So it was really a pleasure to have had the courtesy of the government of Grenada making it possible for her to return home tonight.
And just having this opportunity to have my loved one home at a crucial time. We all know what hurricane is. I am so grateful because as for a parent and any parent, it is nerve-wracking to watch your loved ones far away from you going through an experience. We know what Ivan was. We know what Ivan did. I have watched Wilma through Jamaica while she was a student, and I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity and everybody and the stakeholders who pull all the stops together to get them home.
Terence Forrester, Ambassador for Diaspora Affairs, welcomed the students upon arrival and stated that the government acted swiftly to safeguard Grenadian students and reunite them with their families.
Very easy decision for the government of Grenada with respect to securing the Grenadian students out of Jamaica on the heels of what is considered to be one of the most dangerous hurricanes Jamaica would ever face. The government's main interest was securing the Grenadian students out of Jamaica. It is now 3 a.m. Saturday morning at the Point Celine Airport, and we are happy to receive the students from Jamaica.
Hurricane Melissa has already taken the lives of 4 individuals in Haiti and continues to strengthen as it moves closer to Jamaica and the Northern Caribbean. Regional disaster officials are urging residents in the storm's projected path to complete all necessary preparations, as Melissa could bring life-threatening winds, heavy rainfalls, and flash flooding.
Yes, so we know Melissa devastated Jamaica. In fact, I'll play a little piece of that from Jaja Foundation, a very reputable foundation outside of Jamaica, but has serious connections in Jamaica. Because these days you have a lot of AI videos circulating online, so you have to actually go to the source to get authentic stuff.
It's getting real bad out there now. Basically in a shingle snow globe.
The folks on radio, I'm actually showing you a video. I'm showing
Fear destruction, brother. Right now. Tree still a tear down, much sitting. Much sitting right now there. Tree still a tear down.
Barely can see the hut.
Right. So I played just a little piece of that. It's about 15 minutes long, just for you to get a feel as to the situation. It's not easy, but I played it so you can understand the visionary leader that we have, so you can connect, because he moved the students, Grenadian students, from Jamaica back to Grenada. And some people may say, but why? Well, you now seen the reason why. And it takes a visionary leader to do just that. And these little things count a lot. These students will never forget this gesture of goodwill by the government to make sure that they're back in Grenada, chartering a flight and taking them back home. Their families will not forget this. Now seeing the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa, you could imagine what is going through their heads and what they're actually seeing. They're thankful, they're grateful. So you see, many a times when I see certain people commenting and saying certain things, I laugh. For example, KB. KB is not qualified to comment on government's anything, or on the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, or any of the ministers whatsoever. None. And you see, they're outdated analysts. They existed 20 years ago. They don't understand what is taking place politically in this country, but they're quick to talk because they're given a platform to vent and to express themselves and to try to be relevant. They're out of touch. They don't understand what is taking place here. Those pundits, zygotes, sycophants, and goons, and mind you, the majority of them, they're haters of the NDC from day one. So they would not come with anything positive, anything fresh, anything motive. No, deep within them, they're still buried. There is still buried hatred. Because remember, these guys were Peterites, NNPites. They were shocked and still shocked that the NDC won the election, because they were on the NNP bandwagon, the Peter bandwagon, and we saw what Keith Mitchell did to this guy, to Peter David, coming to the General Council of NNP and so on. The KB and the Panames and all of them, they thought, the Hamlets, and they thought that Peter gonna get the thing because it's a walk in the park, right? It's a marriage that would happen so easily, and he would just be anointed and made the leader of the NNP, and we saw what happened eventually. So these guys, they are bitter, they're sour. They can't say anything good about NNP and Emlyn and so on, because many of them, they were either kicked out or not around the NNP. But they would not say anything good about the NDC and Deacon Mitchell and everybody else, because they're still full of hate and bitterness. They can't come to life or light to accept the fact that this government is doing well. And people are not even taking them seriously. Because when you speak to the young people who are brought back home from Jamaica, they don't know about KB and Jenny Simon and all of them, all the rubbish that they're talking. Because if you look carefully, the NNP base is not growing. So no matter what Jenny and the others are saying out there, because they're opposition forces, they may not be NNP, but they're opposition forces. They're not impacting the NNP base. They're not growing that base. And they can't do anything to the NDC base. And the people in the middle, they love their deacon and they love the performance of the government. Don't even talk about the folks in the diaspora. I mean, it's a given. So these gestures must remind you that we have a visionary leader, a leader who cares. Let me play this piece for you to show you how humble our beloved Prime Minister is, and people are noticing it, and the simple thing counts. The very simple things count in life. Simple things. No highty-tighty, no big this and big that. Simple. Look at this.
Afternoon, my name is Norris Francois. What's your name?
My name is Violet Francis from Dukin St. Mark.
All right. Well, welcome to DMs on the Streets. Ask your question to the Prime Minister.
Okay, my name is Violet Francis. As everyone know me like Vio, I would like to thank the Prime Minister for what he have started for us. I've born and grown there and we never get a road like maybe, 60 already, so it's about 60 years now. I'm living up there and we never got a road. And now the Prime Minister now coming, start giving us a road, and the Prime Minister who was there before him, he always promise, always promise, always promise, and we never ever get
So
the
which road is that again?
on Cow Hill.
Okay.
So the Prime Minister that now come, he come up the hill and even visit them neighbors and them house. And one of the neighbors right up to the top, Mildred, he take off his shoes to go into her house, the
Yes.
Prime Minister,
Yes.
which we appreciate him more very much. So I would like to thank him for what he have done for us. The start he had made. We thank him very much.
And what he will continue to do too.
And what he will continue to do whenever he get the money and the time.
And you're talking about St. Mark. That's the heart of NNP. St. Mark is the heart of NNP. Forget about Keith Mitchell's constituency. St. Mark, people know for years they have always gone NNP way. If you go to St. George Northwest, a similar thing. But, Keith, that's his constituency. But outside of Keith Mitchell's constituency, St. Mark, and to a lesser extent, St. Andrew Northeast, that's where Kate Lewis is, to a lesser extent, and Carriacou and P.T. Martinique, right? So, because if you look at history, these constituencies, they have voted the NNP for consecutive elections over and over and over again. Carriacou, St. Andrew Northeast, St. Mark, and St. George Northwest. But St. Mark has always been known as the heart of the NNP. But they don't help these people. They were not helping these people and bettering the living standard and condition of the people of that constituency. They just take it for granted that they would vote them again over and over and over again. But look at our beloved Prime Minister. Someone called in to DM with PM or DMs with PM. And that young lady spoke about that road. And he promised her that he will visit that community. And he did. When he visited the community, she said to him, look, this is the problem. The road is the problem and that kind of stuff. There are elderly people living here. There are young people living here. We want the road fix. And they've started the construction of that road. But what is very important, according to that resident, she said the Prime Minister, in going into the house of that lady, Mildred, removed his shoes. He's the Prime Minister. He could have just walked into that house with his shoes on, right? But he didn't. It shows how humble he is. And he is relatable. You can relate to him. You go in somebody's house and you remove your shoes. Not because you're X or Y, you're going to just walk in. It says a lot about the character of the individual. And that is why I say to people, most of the folks who are talking now on politics, they know a damn thing about it in 2025. They're outdated. They're not up to the times. Because the next election will be a movie. I'm telling you, it will be a movie. Because, folks, you have to look at the impact of what the government is doing for the people. This government is a people-centered government with a difference. The previous administration, they were about concrete and concrete and concrete. This government is different. You look at the amount of scholarships given to Grenadians. Just look. These recipients, those young people, they come from families. They come from homes. The impact is not only felt by the recipients, but the families. The 500 and something small businesses, medium-sized businesses who received assistance from CES up to $30,000. Those recipients come from families. They come from a home. And in many instances, 3 and 4 people in there. So the impact is felt beyond just that small business owner or just the employee of that business. You look at the pay and grade for the police officers, the 1,000 plus police officers, they come from families. They come from a home. The impact is felt beyond just the 1,000 something police officers. You look at the minimum wage adjustment, giving better salaries to security officers, to gardeners, to cooks, to cleaners, to housekeepers, to clerks. The thousands and thousands and thousands of these people. I mean, you're talking about 10,000 people impacted by this. They come from homes, they come from families, from different constituencies. The impact is greater than some people think. The free tuition policy, where parents don't have to hurt their head to get $810 to pay to get their child in school. Come on. You're talking about in the last 3 years, more than 8,000 young people were impacted by this policy. They come from homes. They come from families. This is common sense. The government is focused on people's development. The nurses and doctors who got the increase, $500 for the nurses on their salary, $1,000 for the doctors. They come from homes. They come from families. The 500 and something retirees and those in the public service who will retire and will get their pension, will get a gratuity. They're coming from homes with families. This is common sense. Those who are being regularized and made permanent, they were not regularized and made permanent under NNP. They come from homes. They come from families. This is basic. The land regularization, where you have scores and scores of people getting title to their land that they were fighting for years to get title to. They come from homes. They come from families. This thing is basic. The laptops given to 3,000 plus students, they come from homes. They come from families. The free hot meal program, 13,000 students receiving that every day. They come from homes. They come from families. The schools that are being built and jobs that are being created, in St. David, for example, the St. David Catholic Secondary School, 40 point something $million. The St. Andrew Anglican School, 30 point something million, 37 point something $million. The Grenada Christian Academy, 30 point something, I think 36 or 37 something $million. What do you expect? Jobs are being created, the community is being enhanced. What do you expect would happen? The community centers that are being refurbished, the basketball courts that are being fixed and upgraded, the playing fields that are being upgraded and lit, young people having places to go, recreate, and the play areas that are being upgraded and fixed and installed in some areas. What do you expect? The Build Back Better housing, the housing repair program, the fixing of roads, the fixing of drains, the personal assistance for, so many people. What do you expect? The assistance given to farmers and fishers, the upgrade and the work in the healthcare sector. What do you expect? These people come from families. And they don't even talk about the diaspora. The people in the diaspora, they are proud of the leadership style that we have and what the government is doing for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martin, because most of the folks in the diaspora, they're in developed countries. So they know what is good healthcare. They know what is investment in education, agriculture, human resource development, and we can go on and on and on. I'm saying to you folks, that's where the politics lies. The amount of airlifts from Grenada to other countries, thanks to this government, the amount of upgrades to the Hillsborough, Lauriston airport, and we can go on jetties, and we could go on and on. You have to understand the impact. But some of these folks who are analysts and political this, and mind you, there are some people in this country, all they want is for Grenada to remain stable, and for the economy to grow, and for development to take place. And we are seeing that. We are seeing that. The days of conmen and crooks coming here. There are some people who are angry during the NNP time and still angry because conmen and crooks came into the country during the NNP time and they conned the NNP administration of hundreds of millions of dollars. That's not happening now. That's not happening now. You look at the creatives, the young people who are now part of mainstream, the Mainstream Development Trust. You look at these people were never seen as important in the previous administration. You check events and activities. I go to events where our beloved Prime Minister actually is or will be, right? And I attend those events. I'm talking about mainstream events, not party events, not NDC events, right? I'm talking about, because I go to funerals and I would bounce him up. Sometimes he would say, well, but every funeral I go see you, Kim, right? But we thinking alike. So, and you see the love. I observe these things. I went to that party in Lavolane. He was there. Everybody wants to hug him and everybody wants a photo. Everybody wants to embrace him. Everywhere I go, all the events, a fair on the court, everywhere, community walk up, everywhere, the love is real. So these guys who are outdated political analysts, I call them donkeys in a horse race. They don't understand. They're lost. They don't understand what is taking place. They don't. So you have Justin Pierre. By the time I hear them Pierre and them have a problem. So Justin Pierre talk his foolishness, publish his stupidity, his shit, his opinion, because opinion is like shit that you flush in the toilet. Mess. Anybody could have it. All right? So I said to you, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. All right? So our beloved Prime Minister responded. And listen.
Prime Minister the Honorable Deacon Mitchell is dispelling concerns regarding the frequency of his international travel. These concerns have most recently been articulated by labor market statistician Dr. Justin Pear. While acknowledging that the Prime Minister is one of the most internationally active leaders in the Caribbean, Pear says there are serious economic and administrative consequences. Pear estimates that the Prime Minister has traveled 51 times since taking office. He also estimates that travel for the Prime Minister and his delegation has amounted to between EC $4.9 and $6.2 million. Addressing cost concerns, the Prime Minister said official travel is often funded by external entities.
Is not paid for by the government of Grenada. That's one of the policies over travel, that the travel has to be funded by the entities that are asking us to travel. Except for organizations like CARICOM or the OECS or the UN, where obviously we are part of the international global architecture that requires us to attend those events, then obviously we fund those travels. Other than that, the rest of the travel. So there's actually, in the majority of cases, no significant impact on the post.
According to the Prime Minister, the survival of small island states hinges on their global relationships, which he argued are cultivated during official visits.
And if we don't have friends, if we don't have supporters, if we don't have partners, small islands, the very existence of small islands is on the threat. From climate change, from the economic challenges that all of us face, from the cutting off of aid for many multilateral institutions, from the challenges to economic policies being pursued by larger countries, to the threat to regional and some international instances, international peace. So we need to focus on the issues that matter to our people and make sure people understand it and make sure that our survival depends on as many friends and as many partners as possible, always being there to support us and help us come through difficult periods. So I will finally say this point. People don't invite you if they don't want you.
The Prime Minister added that travel should not be seen as a luxury, especially by the nation's youth. He hopes to inspire young Grenadians to be global citizens. The Prime Minister cited examples of support received from the international community to demonstrate the benefits of his travels.
Our own experience with Hurricane Beryl, and thankfully the majority of the damage was concentrated to the north of the island and to our sister isles. If all three islands were devastated, we would have been in a lot more trouble. The people are going to help you. The people are going to come to your assistance. The people are going to help you survive these things are the people you build relationships with, the people you interact with. It's not going to happen sitting in a small island here. That is part of the reason why you have to travel. That is part of the reason why you have to go and build relationships. On Thursday, I'll be distributing 1,000 cricket kits to our sporting clubs, to our students throughout the length and breadth of Grenada. You can't sit in Grenada and hope somebody's going to give you that if you don't go and build the relationships.
Reporting for GBN News, I am trainee reporter Deidre Seeley.
Well, Seeley, you're doing a fantastic job. I don't think you need to call yourself trainee reporter in going forward. You did a fantastic job. All right. And you see, Justin Pear puts out rubbish there, and my good partner George Wom fall into the trap with all this rubbish. But the guy doesn't have the facts. And as the Prime Minister indicated, the majority of these travels are paid for by the countries inviting you, the agencies inviting you, except when they go to the UN or CARICOM. You know, these things are paid for by the state. But the other trips and so on, you see, Justin needs to educate himself. Because I remember traveling to many countries, and not Grenada that paid for it, but I was working with the government of Grenada. The agencies paid for it. They paid for it. And they provide you with podium. They provide you with, you know, all the accommodations necessary. That's kind of standard. And to be invited means that they want you. The Prime Minister said it well. So these guys beating up and forcing over travel. When Keith Mitchell and the NNP and all the ministers and so on, they were traveling, we didn't know anything much about it. No, we didn't. But you see, these guys publish stuff thinking that people are stupid. So he published a long old thing, right? And you wonder, Maybe he has too much of time on his hands. But expect more from characters like these, like Justin Pay and the others. And I say to you, don't believe that these guys are totally genuine about the development of Grenada. And also ask yourself, whose bidding are they doing? And also, who is paying them to do what they're doing? That's important. Very, very important. But we are happy that our beloved Prime Minister continues to represent us well, excellently so. And we are seeing the fruits of that, the relationships that he is forging and building. And I always give you a typical example. I always say, you have to be around the table to be counted. I remember going to Panama on a high level engagement, government, disaster management related. And the Under Secretary General for Humanitarian aid and support and that kind of thing, or humanitarian affairs, Valerie Amos at the time, I don't know if she's still there, she attended that meeting. So that meeting was surrounding her and the different disaster management agencies in the region, and also SIDIMA. And I attended. It was paid for by SIDIMA or / the UN, because that's how they channel the resources from UN to SIDIMA. And, they pay and they cover everything. Transportation, podium, housing. We stayed at the Sheraton Hotel in Panama. Everything, food and whatever. But I was not supposed to sit at one of the high-level meetings. I was supposed to be involved in other engagements, right there, because they have, side meetings and other things like that. And I was called forward to sit on behalf of Grenada at that meeting, because Ronald Jackson, who was at the time in charge of SIDIMA, he said, Kem, I don't know, he was not in charge of SIDIMA, he was in charge of the ODPM Jamaica, but eventually became the man in charge of SIDIMA, and then he moved from there to international organization, some disaster management, something, out in Brussels. I must give him a call, my good pal. But I'm saying, he said, come, sit, represent Grenada, and speak on behalf of Grenada and SIDIMA. Connect the both. Talk about Ivan, the experience. Talk about Emily and the recovery and the resources and the training and so on pumped in by SIDIMA and, what they were able to do. So I was able to sit there. So you have to be around the table. You have to be at that table. Because if you're not, then you're going to miss out. And I can tell you, our Prime Minister, he doesn't want to travel for traveling's sake. In fact, he loves to be in the community throughout Grenada. You see, he visited in the last 3 years more communities, more villages than Keith Mitchell did in 23 years and a half. Going in more houses, meeting more people and engaging people. Our beloved Prime Minister. You don't need to be a genius to realize that. So he doesn't want to be out there, but he has to. He has to. You have to be at the table to be counted. I remember being the focal point for the ACP EU project here through, again, disaster management. And they were doing 3 or 4 projects here in Grenada, but I was the focal point, the person to make sure that it's done and it's completed and everything is in place. And when they come to Grenada, because, the EU and the African Union and so on, they spend their money, they're going to come, evaluate, assess, and make sure that it's spent properly. And when they come to Grenada, I remember I would cook oil down for them. I would get the best rum for them. I would bring them out at the time Fantasia nightclub and have a damn good time with them. Many of them white people, right, or mix. And we would have a wonderful time. And then we go on the site and I treat them well. But whenever there is anything as it relates to training, travel, anything, they want Kem Jones to be there. You build relationships and you maintain it. That is how it's done. Little country like Grenada, a little dot on the map. If you're not around the table, people don't know. They don't know you. They won't just pick up the phone and call you. No, they won't. And people need to know that. You see, the NNP had and continue to have their supporters in this cocoon, in this box mentally, that they can only see what's in there. Many of the supporters of the NNP, they don't travel. They don't know about diplomacy. They don't know about foreign affairs. They don't know about governance. They don't know about these things. Some of them have not even been to Carriacou, much less P.T. Martinique. They don't. And they don't understand these things. They just don't. Some of them cannot read, write, or reason. And the NNP kept these people in that position and preyed on their vulnerability. So their ability to think outside of the box, it's just not there. And I am sorry for these people, but I am also happy that the NDC administration is doing all in their power to get these people out of that mindset, that thinking, to see Grenada as part of a global community. Grenada is not isolated. What do we really produce here? What do we really produce here? I'm asking because you see, some people believe that we print in money. Some people believe that we have manufacturing, plenty factories and plenty this and plenty that. Folks, it's time to think outside of just what they cause you to, or program you to, or fix you to. Time to think outside of it. It's like they concrete your feet and you can't turn this way. You just could look only that direction. Break yourself out of that bondage that you're in. The government is at work. The government cares about its people. And we are seeing the transformation happening. And it's not just concrete roads, concrete drains, but it is also human resource development. The transformation of people, the enhancement of people. So it's high time that all those who believe that they're geniuses in the politics and current affairs, and just cool it. Cool it. People are not bothered about you folks. I'm telling you. We have never seen in the history of Grenada the diaspora being so involved in the governance of this country, being involved in nearly everything in this country. They are no longer just fit for sending barrels or remittances. They are beyond that. They are more than that. We have never seen in the last many election cycles that within the tenure of a government, so many people registering to vote. We have never seen that. And it's because of the Deacon effect. It is because of the government performing and doing well. Basic. You don't need to be a political scientist to understand that. That in the next election, you would have more than 10,000 people from the diaspora participating in a big way in the country's election. This is our country. And you are not more Grenadian than those who went to greener pastures to work and to send home some money to build a house, buy a car, or buy a piece of land. We are all equal. The NNP and some NDC who were not smart enough or who were too smart at the time never educated or empower our people. Make them know what the law says. And thanks to Kem Jones, and sometimes I don't take my flowers, I don't take credit. Thanks to me, over the many years, at least the last 3 years, I have focused heavily on registration. I have focused heavily on educating the people on what the law says. So what the lawyers couldn't do for you, I did it. What the law says regarding registration. And I challenge the supervisor of election. And I had that supervisor say like Moraine, because Moraine said it. He was supervisor of election. Yes. So we're clearer now. You're a Grenadian. No matter where you go, you're a Grenadian. You're born, you're bred here. That's you. And you can participate in our election. So more and more people are appreciating that. And they're registering. And they're coming forward. They're participating, they're supporting, they're funding. They want Grenada to move forward. They want Grenada to be transformed. They want Grenada to be a better place. And they no longer staying behind and watch. They're participating. They're getting involved. And we continue to do that. That is why every time the NNP tries to have an event or activity in the diaspora, they fail in. And the movement will fail in Canada too. And the movement will fail in New York too. They will. Because you see, we have a progressive government. We have a progressive government who develop in this country, doing things for the people of the country. And those pollsters and pundits and analysts, and they call themselves all kind of names. Many of them are outdated. Who young person want to listen to KB and what KB has to say? Kennedy Bulldog or Bulldog or Justin Pay or Michael Baptiste or Perry or want to hear these guys? I mean, they're given a platform to talk, but indeed they're not relevant to this time. They're outdated. They're stuck. There will come a time when I will be outdated too and irrelevant too. Don't fool yourself. All right? But you have to know when that time comes. It is what it is. My children are coming up and they are smarter, they are sharper, they're more focused. I'm telling you, people like Francis Pierre and these kind of guys, and come on, just think. But the next election will be like a movie. I'm telling you. And it will be a shocker for a lot of them. They don't understand what is happening. They don't understand this thing is a numbers game. They don't understand. And all of them who believe, in fact, one was saying to me this morning, the NNP base, while it's not growing, it was larger than the NDC base. And I told the individual, I said, no. I said, you're confused. The NDC base was waiting on a savior, was waiting on a leader, was waiting on a team of men and women who can activate them and who can get them out to vote and to participate. You're fooled. You're thinking, you don't understand. You hear Justin Pierre talking his rubbish about what could have caused the 3,000 something NNP to vote for NDC. You people are stupid. You don't understand the politics. You don't understand what happened in the last election. Some of you are. You don't. The NDC base and the NDC supporters, all the leaders, all the people who presented themselves before the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, the NDC people, the majority didn't want them, rejected them. They never created that vibes, that buzz, that energy, that they never did that. So some of these people stayed home. Some of these people, just didn't bother. Some of them, they were not energized. They were not. I'm telling you, I know. I was in the vineyard fighting this thing from day one. I know. And it was hell to get some of these people to understand that, to go in the back room and allow, and then you'll get a walk, you'll get something. Look at it, some of them now. See some of them now, they get walk, they get like a thing, and they're feeling good. They could take care of their family and so on. You understand the point? Folks, you have to understand the thing. So, the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, you all are not giving him enough credit, You all are not giving the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his young team enough credit, They resurrected this thing, They revived this thing, They get people who never wanted to go out there and vote and to wake up early and do so. And what I love is that is being maintained. That is key. So, folks, you have to understand the thing. Some people forget the thing. They forget. But they're not giving him enough credit. So the NNP base is not bigger than the NDC base. No. Some people are confused. They don't understand this thing. They don't. The people in the middle, they love the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. They love this government and what this government is doing. And the base is intact. Come on. And the diaspora is 100% on board. So you have the NDC base, the people in the middle, and the diaspora. What do you have for NNP? NNP base is dwindling. I met someone yesterday who said to me that they voted for NNP, but they love what is happening in the country. They love it. And they would never go and vote for NNP again. I'm telling you. So that base is dwindling. And then you have the Peter factor. Peter David brought into the NNP some rogues, in my belief, who left NDC. That's long time ago. In 2013. That's years ago. All right. Some of them come back home, but But a lot of these folks who talking now, they didn't even know where they stand. So they with Peter, but they were with NNP in the last election. They voted for NNP in the last election. So that's numbers that they lost. NNP lost. You see, some of these people believe that they're genius and they could analyze and they're called pollsters and they pollster. Nonsense. You're not living in reality. They're not. So the NNP continues to lose support. Look at the people in the meetings. They're not attracting the young, the middle-aged. No. It's like an old Gary party, GLP. Still singing I will something about the leader, right? until he died. Da, 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 da. You know, the same kind of leader thing, the old time thing. They're still singing that tune, the NNP. My party, something about some party song that GLP used to sing and Gary and them. You just look at the people who are going to their meetings, who are following their stuff. They're, you know, young people are not attracted to NNP. They're not. And the majority of the population, they're young. They're not attracted to NNP. So, folks, you have to understand that. The NNP is going out. Not that the movement going to take them over, but the movement attracted some of their supporters. Because the movement, Peter brought them in and he took them out. Because they're loyalists to Peter. But not enough to make an impact. And it's just like the tongue of St. George. Folks, Peter cannot and will not win the tongue of St. George. It will not happen come the next election. And he knows that. Because Peter doesn't have enough personal vote to get him over the line. And the tongue of St. George is a very small constituency. So the people voting for NDC, voting for NDC. The people voting for NNP, voting for NNP. And what we have seen for the last 2 elections, the NDC numbers continue to grow significantly. It's common sense. Common sense. So Peter he not able to get the amount of people required to win. So you have to understand that. If you're doing something wrong with you. All right? Something wrong with you. Folks, I want to again play this little ad for Canada. Folks in Canada, they're having an event soon.
The NDC Canada chapter presents its pre-Christmas dinner and dance, happening on Saturday, November 15, 2025, at the Church of the Nativity Banquet Hall, Malvern, 10 Seawells Road, Scarborough. Come and enjoy a delicious mouth-watering buffet dinner served at 6 p.m., followed by an evening of music, laughter, and dancing, with music by DJ Andy and Selector Vibes. Tickets are only $75. And yes, there'll be raffles and lots of door prizes to win. It's a pre-Christmas celebration and fundraiser, all in support of moving Grenada forward. Don't miss it. Get your tickets today. Call Kingsley at 416-209-6226, Julian at 647-561-4350, or Louise at 905-865-1027. E-transfer payments will be accepted.
Right, so support them, the folks in Canada. Support them, support them, support them. All right? Folks, I want to wish you all the best. I know Florida is having something, but a good friend from Virginia sent me a flyer, but I need it to come from the Florida chapter. So I don't want to go ahead and announce anything if you don't come from them. All right? So the NDC chapter there, you have to send me that flyer, and then I can promote it. Good? That is important. Folks, I want to wish you